in this bin so that those were your crackers or whatever. You could put some jam on, or you could turn those into breadcrumbs or whatever at some point. Here's one. And it was interesting. I was saying this to, actually, Michael, my nephew. One thing I was brought up on was, you never spend your capital. It is too hard won. And I thought he was going to drop his jaw. He went, what do you mean? I mean, isn't money for spending? It was like, anyway, so that was where that little thing came. She was a planner. Leave nothing to chance. And she said, the sooner you figure out that you make your own luck, the better off you will be. Because if you're busy trying to get lottery tickets so you get lucky, you've missed the boat. Relationships. Well, here are a few good ones. If you care about somebody, you never hit below the belt. Right? And there are no surprises with money. You're always on the same page. You spend, the other knows, and vice versa. You never go to bed angry. And you work out your problems as they come along. Now, we've had a few good fights. I think that's fair enough. But there are no surprises. You know, we've learned to work things out as they come along, and it's because of my mother. She was a very ethical, moral person, and on that note, the key line of poetry that stands out for me is Shakespeare. To thine own self be true, and then thou canst be false to any man. And that is quite a thought that she often reiterated. She revered education. Get an education and the world will be yours. Now that was in the era of Sputnik and all that. But still, you know, if you look at the 5 best decisions that you made in your life, that could be one of them, getting an education. So in her demise, what did we learn? There were some poignant moments. Before Mom was going down, after my stepfather passed away, I say, Mom, what are you doing today? And she said, I'm going to go and visit my friends in the nursing home. I knew nothing. So you will understand what I'm saying now. I knew nothing. I said to her, oh, Mom, how depressing. She said, this is scarred in my brain forever. She said, I do it as much for myself as for them. I understand now. After 10 years, you got to decide that it's really important to visit that person. One day, when she was not in the nursing home, but she was really starting to lose it, we were saying, well, Mom, maybe we need to get someone to live with you. I'm afraid you'll fall down the stairs and nobody will know. She said, I said, I can't take that risk. And she said, but Lynda, life is a risk. Burned on my brain forever. So one day when the social worker phoned to say that there were 2 days to prepare my mom, take her to the nursing home, get her ready, that was the worst day of my life. The phone rang in my classroom, and I went to the phone. It was the social worker, and he told me. And I went back to the classroom, and I said, you know, I'm going to be away for 2 days, and I was never away. I said, I'm not home with my feet up. I need you guys to be on side, because tomorrow is the day I have to put my mother in the nursing home. In which case, I sat down at my desk and I wept. And of course, you've got 30 kids, when I kind of recovered, stunned, looking at me with their mouths open. And I said, well, there you are. Years hence, you'll meet each other on the street, and you'll be saying, well, do you remember our art class? It won't be, do you remember the project? It'll be, do you remember our art class where Mrs. Faulks cried when she told us about putting her mom in the nursing home? Well, I said, if that's all you remember, that's okay. because art is about our humanity. And in the scheme of things, the bottom line is love. And from that point, 2 days later, I went to the class and I said, do you want to make a difference to my mom? We'll make 27 3-foot by 7-foot murals for the nursing home. Well, we'd love to do that, but we can't paint. I said, well, you're going to know how to paint in 4 weeks because that's the day you're contributing them to the nursing home. Motivation is everything in education, I've discovered. Anyway, so that was quite poignant. And on the last day of school, when I met some of the kids, I said, you know, that was just the most wonderful day. And even the toughest kid in the class said the same. Yes, it was, because they felt so needed. If you go to the Royal BC Museum on the 3rd floor, there is a mural about the settler resource, natural, and Aboriginal history of BC. And the mural that we did for the museum, one of the Korean girls didn't know what to do for her panel, and I said, well, you know, you could maybe do something about my grandmother's family. So I brought pictures of Grandma, and my mother and her 2 sisters in their Sunday best. Anyways, at the end, we presented the mural. Now, was it Joanna was with Mom or was he? I don't know. Okay, well, anyways, one of the companions brought Mom to the unveiling, and we pushed Mom up to the mural, and this one panel was in the bottom corner. My mom had not spoken for a long time, so that's why this was so precious moment. I said, Mom, this is your mother. And she put her hand on the cheek, and she said, I thought it might have been. Pardon me while I pulled the arrow out of my heart. I mean, it's just like suddenly she had some words. I discovered that the nursing home is a place that you have to decide. It's not just about your mother, it's about some of the other people, connecting with the people that are there, making a difference to some of those folks who never have anyone visit. And also to the staff. How is this for a poignant moment? When I discovered that the Vietnamese caregiver, Tilly, was looking after my mother whilst her father was dying in Vietnam. And we found that the more we connected with the people that worked there, the more sense of family there was in caring for my mom. So, you know, the old saying about what goes around comes around. Well, my mom was loved and she was cared for and looked after. I've learned too much of things I didn't think I needed to know. There's my mom in the wheelchair sleeping, and I'm wrestling with things I didn't need to know about. Power of attorney, trust funds. Believe me, Joanne, the accountant, I went to see him when my mom passed away, and I said, is there anything I need to do? He said, you've done it all. That man knows about the Vi Tait trust. Trust me on this. And I've learned more than I figured I needed to know. You have to have a sense of humor about all of this, and there were a few funny things that happened. First of all, before Mom went into the nursing home, I discovered in her safety deposit book that she'd taken out a pile of money. And we, like, Mom, what did you do with it? Well, I wanted to give some to my family. I said, $1,800? I said, but it's cash. She sort of basically said, well. Now, this is the mother that taught me to write checks and record them and write. She was going to send it in cash in the mail. But, of course, that wasn't a problem because we couldn't find the money. So Ian, bless his heart, was out. I looked out the window, and there was Ian rifling through the garbage before the truck could take it away. And my mom looked out the window and said, what is he doing?